AT-7, the first gun. With the first gun, really, you don't have enough pen to be effective against anybody except for lights and lightly armored mediums. For that reason, I'm going to go C-Cap because that's where the lights and mediums usually go.
Move out!
Our little AMX gets spotted and rightly runs off. He made the right decision there.
Another one like that should finish them. We got him!
You see this gun, its firing rate is just insane.
Penetration!
So I run the T-62 off. Probably shouldn't have gone down here, but I'm trying to save my buddy down there. You notice that purple spotted ribbon, which means their entire team, so for some reason, went C.
We didn't even... Vehicle destroyed!
I'm just going to skip the rest of this, and suffice to say we end up winning on cap points with the LTTB, the only one surviving. The AT-7 again, I believe this is the second gun.
Time to roll out.
With the second gun you get a little bit more penetration, and you get a bigger alpha, so you can actually really start to bully lights and mediums, but you still have a lot of trouble hitting heavies, so you generally want to try to take on the mediums. Dude, get out of the way. There's a TD over here that needs killing. Your armor, yeah, you can kill a lot of good monsters.
Enemy armor is damaged.
That's a really good sniping spot the KV was in, but once they're up on you, you're toast. So I don't really suggest using it. Use it and then lose it. Port Despair is probably one of the best maps for this one because it is so small that your slow speed doesn't really become that much of a negative for you. Like I said, bullying the lights, mediums, and lightly armored TDs.
Time to roll out.
This is the AT-7, also the second gun, but it's really beginning to come into its own. The big maps like this can be a real problem for you because of your slow speed. So just try to pick a spot where the enemy is likely to pop up. I sort of like this spot because it gets them whether they go town or base. See, you spotted them in town.
Looks like that one went right through.
Not sure what it went through. It didn't seem to damage him.
That one didn't go through.
Like I said, you are not very good against heavies.
Critical hit.
Unfortunately, I'm stuck on the corner of the rock. And I can't turn as long as he's there.
We nailed him bad. Our track is hit. It can break any minute. We didn't even scratch them. That one didn't go through.
Should have switched to APCR.
Enemy armor is damaged. Ricochet. We've hit them hard. Penetration. Got him.
So although you do struggle against heavies, you can get them. You just have to aim really well and use APCR. And luckily now that one of their biggest guns is out of the way, we can clean up the rest of this.
Punched right through their armor.
I should have switched back.
Penetration.
But the heat of battle sometimes you forget those things.
They're knocked out.
Yeah, see, we did about half the damage to that IS-2. And held him while the other one hit him. And just tore up the T-49. The AT-7, and I think we finally have the big gun.
Let's get this show on the road.
No, it's still the second gun. And this is a big map, which is another problem, which is yet again a problem for a slow tank. It's always good whenever you get a light or medium that knows how to spot the middle without getting wrecked. And it looks like he has. I'm going to try to draw the line over here to keep us from getting flanked. But they're not flanking. Yet again, going over to try to save our little light buddy to put shots into those that are chasing. And their light is deleted and ours wasn't. Because ours was smart enough to run to the DDs. Now, in this spot, you can pretty much hold the enemy team from getting to this side and keep all of them spotted for your other TDs and heavies.
We didn't penetrate their armor.
It's really better for like a hold down medium or heavy, but if you know what you're doing in a armored TD, you can do it as well. And I know my gun isn't the greatest, but keeping these guys pinned up and spotted helps the team quite a bit.
They got the commander! We can't see what's going on!
Just back up one more time. Back up one more time. Come on. Back up one more time. Peek up one more time. See, we're up 3 tanks because they can't advance and they can't back up.
Enemy is hit!
We finally did back up one more time.
The track is damaged!
Oh, that was not smart. Just a question of who's going to shoot him first. Luckily, it's me.
He's gone! Find us another target!
Yeah, do not ram a heavily armored DD whenever you're extremely low on hit points. It's just not a good idea. Not a great amount of damage, but like I said, we kept them bottled up and spotted for the rest of the team so that they could get these high numbers. Desert Sands, yet another expansive map. A lot of people say don't play Supremacy in this, but maps like this, you can do quite well in Supremacy. Because of your heavy armor, you can pretty much leverage your way in. He is going outside, so that is not smart.
We
always want to try to keep the front armor towards the enemy. It's your best armor.
Enemy armor is damaged. Nice shot. Critical hit.
Rounds and shot on the KV2. I love it when that happens.
Penetration.
KV2 is nearly dead. They are a prime target for the
Just
See, I've been more in the open than that heavy tank.
Our track is hit. He can break any minute.
And yet I've got more hit points than him. Because I've been keeping my front towards the enemy. Epic damage blocked already. Unfortunately, the way is now barricaded by dead tanks, and I'm so slow that by the time I make my way around the dead tanks, I've capped the base. Again, somebody coming out sideways.
Enemy is hit.
Only a third class, but epic damage block. Definitely had to give that ARL credit. He did a great job, and the Tiger could have done better if he had like actually bounced and angled, but he did all right. I believe we finally have the big top tier gun. But yet again, this time this tank with its fast firing rate is still best at bullying lights and mediums. So I'm going to go C-cap and hopefully be able to snipe over to A-cap once it's cleared. playing the heavy on the medium side. Side scraping, bouncing shots so that the mediums can get in the flank. Now that I've pushed, they're pushing.
The main gun is damaged. We can't fire accurately. Truck hit! One of our trucks was hit! Punched right through their armor.
I really thought I would have help.
Nice shot!
It will do, but just a little late.
Got him!
I actually blocked more damage than I did that time. This is the AT-7 again, but this time with the top back at Vineyards, but this time with the top gun.
Time to roll out!
And still yet, I always go towards B just in case the enemy gets like a bomb pair and decides to rush it. Doesn't happen very often, but I have seen it happen. Okay, B is capped, so yeah, I'm headed over to C to cap in. Normally, the other team would have a tank or two here. There's one. No, he's just looking over. Okay, base is capped. And now they're going to try and come over and take it back. Not sure what he was looking at. We caught him with his pants down, and he gonna make it.
We finish him off. That's gotta hurt.
Evidently, he doesn't know how fast the reload is.
Punched right through their armor.
Yeah, never just go straight out of it anywhere near the A-cap. About a half a second too late on that shot. And that camper gets. AT-7 again, also with a Top Gun. This map you'll generally want to go town because you're way too slow to be very effective on the dunes. I mean, if you have a whole lot of lights and mediums, then yes, definitely go dunes with them, but generally you're better off going town. These two guys just give me a smorgasbord here.
Punched right through their armor. We got him. Enemy armor is destroyed.
That's the thing, with this gun doing such a low alpha, a lot of times they'll ignore you to try to get the big gun. And that Tiger, like, didn't realize like, right at the very end that I was more dangerous.
We hit them hard. Penetration.
He was just a little too bloodthirsty to go over there and get that kill, because it gets him killed.
Put it on track. He's gone. Find us another target.
Yeah, that's another thing. You will get caught on the edges of things and not be able to turn because this thing is just so huge and not powerful enough to overcome it. The AT7 with the top gun, we have a
Time to
Malkovia
roll.
map. This map can be really difficult for a lot of people. At higher tiers, you generally want to go up top because there's going to be more heavies than there are lights, and they're going to be the biggest threat. And in your higher alpha TDs, they will sit back here and try to snipe across the map. But that's not really how this TD works. You don't have a high alpha, but you have multiple shots. So once you get the first shot, a lot of times they'll move into cover. And yes, you always have to watch your back. Whenever the mediums start pushing from behind, you need to clear them. Not sure what that heavy is doing over here. Getting wrecked for one thing. Because this is not where he's strongest.
Enemy vehicle destroyed.
And now that I cleared the distraction, maybe we can get back to the actual battle. Penetration is still a problem.
Don't stop. Penetration. They're hit.
And now he realizes that he's in trouble.
That one didn't go through.
Stinking crap, leave me alone. Pulled back a little too far there. Wasn't watching where I was, and fell off the cliff. Yeah, the CDC just does not realize how slow this thing is. He thought I was camping. Evidently, he didn't see me kill the other CDC right in front of him earlier. Not camping, just it takes me forever to get anywhere. I can't cross from one side of the map to the other real fast. With adrenaline, I couldn't reload fast enough. So I go around one way, the lightweight gets in the other. And that's it for the AT7. Basically, when you have the first gun and even the second gun, you are a bully for lights and mediums, and that's pretty much. And you want to try to avoid taking on heavy tanks, if at all possible. Then whenever you get the third gun, you want to use it as a frontline TD, but definitely still use cover, side scrape, haul down. You're a heavy support. I often go along with the mediums once they've engaged in battle, or I go help the mediums anyway, and that's because I can basically be the heavy and bounce shots for the mediums while they do the flanking. And plus, a lot of people don't really realize how quick the reload is on this, so they don't take. I mean, they think, oh, he's shot, I can rush him now, and then they get shot again. Like, what is it, an autoloader? And then they get shot again, and then they try to run away, and by that time that you or your teammates can finish them off. And it can brawl with heavies, as you've seen. Whenever you do brawl with heavies, try to get on a hold down area or someplace where you cannot be circled around behind with a wall to your back. And this is one of the few tanks where you actually want to face hug. They can still get your copula, but as long as you're wiggling and jiggling, that can be a difficult target. This tank is very frustrating in the beginning. By the end, it is okay. It is not a carry tank by any stretch of the imagination, and it can be a fun tank, and it's generally, for most people, just a path to the Death Star. You can decide for yourself whether you want it to be a keeper. Myself, I'm not sure. I definitely like my T-25 a lot better.